So that's where I generally like to begin here. Just watching them and just kind of getting a feel for their energy today. And because it can differ, of course, from day to day. Like, are they feeling energetic today? Are they not feeling so energetic? It can be so many different things that can give you a little bit of an idea of how the session is going to go and give you ideas of what you're going to do to begin the session. If your horse is really energetic and is having a great time, you might start with some high energy work. Whereas if your horse is really like, really low energy, you might start with working on the lie down, like things like that. Like, it can really give you a good indication as to how you're going to best set your horse up for success. Because if your horse is feeling really low energy and you say, okay, let's get that energy up, let's go, suddenly it becomes just hard work and you're creating a negative association. So going with your horse a little bit on these ideas is really powerful. So now I'm going to go in. And also thinking about how you're feeling before you begin the session. Right now, I'm not in the best mental state to do this because I'm teaching, right? The best mental state to do it is when you are really present and really sort of settled in your own mind, and you're able to just kind of be in the moment. When you're teaching, that's a really hard thing to do because you have to think about what you're doing and you have to think about explaining, whereas when you're by yourself, you can just sort of do whatever feels right in the moment. But it's very, very important to just try, it's really difficult sometimes, but try to let go of the stress that you're holding on inside of you, and try to just check in with yourself. And I mean, you don't have to, be in the perfect state of mind. You just have to acknowledge how you're feeling and be aware of it. So if you are holding on to stress, holding on to tension, just be aware of that it's there and kind of think, okay, that's how I'm feeling today. Let's keep that in mind, So the very first thing that I'm going to do with a horse that has never done any liberty training before is begin a little bit of a dialogue with the horse. And this, you don't have to be close to them to do this because they're so observant of their environment. He knows that I'm in the arena. He knows that I'm walking around here. And we can begin communicating without actually having to do anything that is really obvious or very loud. So as he walked around that corner there, he kind of looked at me for a moment. He turned in my direction. I say, hey, I see you. And I'm going to respond to that. I responded to that by just walking away from him a little bit and giving him a little bit of space mentally and physically. It was only a couple of steps, but we've already started a conversation, and I've invited him to engage with me here a little bit. Not by walking up to him and saying, hey, give me your attention. I'm just saying, hey, I saw you over there. Do you want to start a conversation here? And he's such a beautiful boy that he's already like, all right, what are we going to talk about, right? So he's come up and he's said hello to me, which is very, very lovely. And I didn't really have much for him in that moment because I was so busy explaining. So what I could have done is just reciprocated his engagement a little bit more, and because he's obviously quite a social horse, he wants to sniff, he wants to check out, he wants to sort of investigate a little bit. So I could have reciprocated that a little bit better and given him a little bit of scratch and engaged a little bit more to create that positive kind of experience between us. But this is actually good because otherwise that would have been way too easy and I wouldn't have been able to explain anything to you guys. So as they are a little bit distracted here, what I want to do, if they're on the other side of the arena there, is I just begin making my way a little bit towards their tail. And my aim here is just to get their attention just a little bit. And when they look at me or give me any kind of attention, I just say, oh, I wasn't doing anything. I'm walking in the other way. So in that way, we are just starting to have a little bit of a conversation, and I'm showing him that I see his little signals and I see sort of his communications as well, and that he's welcome to begin communicating with me. And it's a lot about showing him that he's in control as well. So if I am consistently responding to what he's doing in a particular way, he feels that he's got a little bit of control over what I'm doing. And what happens is that he will then grow in confidence, and with confidence comes a lot of curiosity. And when they get a little bit confident and curious, that's when they want to walk up to you and sort of check you out and see and engage a little bit. And that's your opportunity then to show them what a really lovely place it is to spend time with you. And then you can start working on sort of nurturing the relationship a little bit. Oh, hi there. So as he's walking around, I'm just projecting a little bit of focus in the direction of his sort of hindquarters of his tail. And as he kind of begins to walk towards me, or if he looks at me, I'm just going to start drifting away. And I'm just making sure that my energy stays really calm and casual throughout this entire process, because I don't want this to be like an aggressive sort of, I don't want it to be like he turns his hindquarters to me and I go, like put a lot of pressure on so that he learns to face up or anything. It's just having a really calm and casual sort of conversation. So as I get closer here, I'm just going to click a little bit. And I don't want to get any closer than this, because of course I don't. If he was to jump forward, I don't want to get kicked or anything. So that's why I'm carrying the whip, so that I can just create a little bit of energy. Hi. Oh, hello. Oh, you are so handsome. Yes, you are so handsome. Hey. And making sure here that I would love to give him a good scratch, but he kind of stepped back and said, hey, what are you doing back there? So I have to respond to that and be like, oh, sorry, it's all right, you can have some space, I see you. And only sort of go in there to give him a scratch if I really feel like he's inviting me in. Hey. Oh, hi. You got a bug that's bugging you, hey? Good. So I'm not sort of getting this feeling. Sometimes you get this feeling that they're very comfortable with you sort of coming in and giving them a little bit of a scratch. Hey, oh, that's nice. Hi. Or they sort of just position themselves.